Welcome, folks. This is the fortnightly SIG SCD triage meeting. My name's James. This is the fortnightly session to try and keep on top of issues and PRs for the project. We have a shared Google Doc, which anyone who has subscribed to the etcd dev mailing list will be able to propose items in there. I'll put a link to that in the chat, but I think everyone's familiar with that already. Awesome. And we'll dive into our first item. Can I just check sound level okay and screen share working? Yep. Thanks, Murphy. Awesome. So we've got a Kubernetes issue up first, and it's one that we did actually highlight, I think, about a month ago, and we still need a little bit of help with this. So long story short, because we've already looked at this, I won't spend too much time on it, but long story short, we need to put a little bit of work into reproducing this. Currently, it's completely manual to reproduce the issue. There are some rough reproduce steps in here around standing up a cluster, running kubectl proxy, and then repeatedly curling the API server metrics. What would be nice would be to have some sort of bash script to be able to programmatically, automatically reproduce the problem. So if someone wants to tinker around with a bit of a bash script, feel free to drop a comment in that issue and take it for a spin. But we have looked at that one before, so I'll move on from that.
Is there, sorry,
Okay.
sorry, going back to that, is there like a guideline? Is there like a previous issue in which like it shows what is required in this one? Because I mean, I think I saw this like a month ago and I was like, okay, so maybe I could try to help with this, but it's very foreign to me.
Yeah, I don't think we have guidelines. I think in general, the issues calling out that we're seeing these gRPC errors more frequently now than when we used to in previous versions. They're calling out 128.9 here as the Kubernetes version where they've started seeing the issue. There's another report further down that's looked at 128.12, 129.8, 130, and yeah, so it'll be trying to pin it back to a particular etcd version, I think, rather than sort of necessarily a Kubernetes version. The problem is, answering your question, we don't really have examples of this sort of thing coming up before.
Yeah, because so if you use steps to repro, there is, so step one is HA control plane with plus let's say 3 nodes. So would it be acceptable to recreate that in kind? So yeah, like I think it's a little bit open side, or do you really need to create a Kubernetes cluster with 3 actual nodes in cloud instances, or like so yeah, I saw it and I was like, okay, so I think like step one is too broad.
It is broad, and you're right, it needs more investigation. So can we confirm, the issue doesn't occur in a single node cluster? Yes, that would be a good step to do. Could we try it with kind or something lightweight like K3s or yeah, those would be good things to try. I think we mentioned last time, it's not a good first issue.
Yeah, definitely.
It needs some time.
Yeah, and the premise,
Yeah.
I will like to volunteer, but I also have some open tasks. So
You've
like,
got a lot on your plate. We all
yeah.
do. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe it will be good to at least document it, so someone, maybe not a good first issue, but maybe someone else can try to to grab it or to achieve this task. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let's just maybe we just add a quick comment here. Is my GitHub tab sharing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. All right, so discussed during our triage meeting, it would be nice to put together a quick bash script to be able to reproduce this automatically. Quick bash script or more precise steps. Currently. Okay, it'd be great if someone could put some time into making this easier to reproduce. So we can pin down the cause quicker. All right. Yeah, it's not a good first issue. It needs some time. Let's jump forward. We have
So I
an
added
issue for
those.
SCD. Yep.
Yeah, I added those two first ones. If you want, I can give a little bit of context. So, yeah, so basically, what is this? So is this the issue? Yeah, this is the issue. So the issue is that I think everything from HCDCTL, Coral, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's getting redirected to STDR, I think, rather than splitting STDR and STD out. Yeah. So then he's saying like, okay, so I'm trying to automate something, but it's difficult because everything is being sent to STDR. If you scroll down, I think someone from the team, uh, yeah, so he suggested, so this is how that's his workaround. Um, but basically it's still a workaround. So then there was a contributor that picked up the issue, open pull request, the pull request that is in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that pull request, I checked it. Initially, it was just solving it for a single comment. And then basically I kind of sent it back to the contributor, asked him, so it didn't look great because it was basically just solving it for a single comment. So he took it back, he addressed it for some other some other for all of the HCD Coro, and then basically that's it. Uh, so we don't have a decision. So my point is we don't have a decision. Do we want to solve the issue? Do we want to split uh, the output to STDR and STD out? I think it's a good idea because I don't think it's a good practice to send everything to the same to STDR. But I think we need a little bit like leadership decision. So
Yeah.
I think this pull request, so I got the notice that it needs a rebase. I didn't check if so. Yeah, the quality I think it wasn't the great because there was a lot of code repetition. So I suggested him to not do like code repetition. I don't think he addressed that part. I think he just addressed that part that he solved it for all of the for all of the comments. But ideally, it's so my point is maybe there's not action item for this pull request, but maybe there's an action item for the issue. Do we want to change it? Do we don't want to change it? So definitely will be a breaking change.
Mm.
Are we fine keeping it for 3.6? So yeah, I guess leadership maybe.
Yep. No, thanks for raising it. I remember actually seeing this a while back, and it is an older issue in PR coming back to earlier this year. Yeah, I'm completely supportive from a perspective of just doing main. I wouldn't want to backport to change the output behavior for the stable release branches, but I don't see why we wouldn't fix the problem in main, right? And go forward and have it clean and resolved in 3.6. So I think what we need to do is make sure the tech leads, or at least one of the tech leads,
Yeah.
also agrees.
Uh-huh.
So what we do is we go back to the issue.
And just
Um,
nudge Ben
yep.
and
So
Mark.
just during cd triage meeting, reviewing the proposed PR, I am completely supportive. We should resolve the issue in main. But not backport to keep current behavior in the unstable release branches. CC tech leads. Because all we need them to do is just agree if the direction is right in terms of fixing it in main. If so, Ivan, you and I, we can do a closer review of the PR, get it rebased, and get it merged.
Mm-hmm.
Who raised this? So that was, yeah. So can you let's just see what Benjamin and Merrick think, and go from there.
Can you be okay? Can you
What?
scroll up?
Sorry. What? Yeah.
No, that's fine. The thing is that I don't know if it's a sign. Is the issue a sign or not?
No.
Because it may be a sign,
Let's.
but I don't think the contributor has commented in this was LL something. No, it's not open, but
Oh, it's a different person. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
okay. So we can't assign, but it's virtually assigned to that contributor.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what they say.
Okay.
And move on to the next one.
So next one is also one that I added. That should be quick.
Awesome. Let's have a look. Oh, market. Yes. You need a
So
decision on this, don't you?
yeah, basically it's been open for a little bit. So I think so we now have basically we don't need the Rust runtime because now there is a binary.
Thanks to you.
Yeah, but so the point is that marker is just linting for broken links. There's no other, so it's like very basic, very basic linting. So technically, I don't know if I will even consider it linting. It's just checking for broken links. But linting with some more like proper linting, like Node's Markdown linter, Node.js, it's possibly gonna open million issues in our Markdown files. So do we wanna replace it? Are we fine? So I think based on the experiment in the website, I think it's possible to do linting through the Node.js one. But do we want to do it? Is it gonna open a can of worms and maybe we don't want to do it? Or should we just close it and say like we're good with this level of pseudo linting?
So what should we do? My two cents. In a perfect world, what we should do is switch to a linting solution which will actually lint properly the markdown files and tell us if they're best practice. I know you've put work into getting that ironed out on the website, and now we have an actual CI workflow to perform proper linting for the website, which is awesome. I would be in favor of aligning and getting proper linting happening in the main etcd repo. The challenge is probably priority and the cleanup kind of work.
Hmm.
So do we make a job that's sort of optional and just provides warning for a while until we can do, or do we create like a good first issue to get some of the markdown files cleaned up? What do you reckon, Mofi and Beck?
I mean, it's if you want to go and change all the markdown files and update, that's like a number of big changes. That could be like a actually KubeCon is coming up, so we're gonna have right after KubeCon we do get a big burst of people that are interested in trying out helping open source projects. So if we do the
Mm,
pre-work of creating a bunch of those markdown file update tasks, that could be like a good way to get a number of people to contribute, and it kind of like crowdsourcing in many ways. So I think yeah, like since that now that we have linting enabled, we should take action on whatever lint says we need to update, right? So just knowing something needs improvement is not enough. We need to actually do the improvement.
refresh my memory. Did we do that markdown linting job in Prow for website?
Yeah, it's proud, but it's using a so we can't. So basically, it's just using a Node.js image. Um,
That's right. Yeah,
so
which is
so
that's fine. Yeah,
yeah, so basically it will mean that so that will mean that we will need to have two jobs. So the linting, the markdown linting needs to be run independently because it will need a Node.js image, which I think is fine. So I also feel like Marker is not having any development. So I think they're
yeah.
gonna try to eventually like make it a proper linter. Um, cool. All right. So those were the two issues that I added.
Yeah, so once the new workflow is in place, I would suggest we use a good first issue to get support, get help from the community to address the backlog of of markdown files that need updates. Yeah. So the one thing we're just going to be careful of is not annoying everyone with job failures in the short term. But yeah, let's try and do what we should. And I'm not suggesting you immediately dive off and do that, Ivan. If you wanted to reframe this slightly into with some description into help wanted, go for it. Yeah,
Okay.
don't put all the burden on yourself.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we have a way forward there. We just have a bit of work ahead. So next one is a PR. I just wanted to follow up for reviews. So it has been rebased recently. All the tests are passing. Benjamin did have a comment earlier this year confirming the fix was valid for the issue, and just that we wouldn't backport it, which is fine. No issue with that. Let's just say thanks for rebase, CC for review. It's one I think I'm not sure it necessarily needs tech lead sort of review. We are just talking about etcd CTL. But I just need to have a little bit of a look at it. So basically, you'd run an etcd cuddle command, and then it would block like indefinitely, just sitting there, so you didn't know what was going on. But if you tweak the I'll show you the files changed. Just basically a gRPC with block on the where is it? Yeah. On the dial options, you're good to go. So I'll have a look at it as well. Okay, we have requested reviews. Let me just self-assign myself to that. Okay, next one, I think we can close out of the queue. So it was a pretty gnarly PR. I won't go through it all, but one of the options was just to update docs so it's clear what count is actually returning in this situation, and the contributors kind of happy with that. So I think, given it's been about a month, was it about a month? Yeah, about a month since the last update. I say we just go for it, close it, try and nudge it forward, update the PR, sorry, the issue so that it's a docs issue. So that's just not sitting there, you know. Looks like we don't have consensus to proceed with the code change, and a docs change be a safer forward. Closing. We'll update the issue. All right. Someone's got a problem with that, they can let me know. We can always reopen it. It's not the end of the world. So we have to update this area docs. And it's not a backport. All right, we've discussed it. Let's reframe this issue as a docs update. All right. Let's see what people say. On to the next one. How are we going for time? 3 minutes. All right, we've got a few left. Let's see if we can tick off a couple more. This one, I think we can actually, I'm skipping to the end one because I think we can just close it. So it's one of the old flake reports from like over a year ago, which I think is actually, it's been sitting open for ages, but it's actually fixed a little while back. There were a bunch of related delay, like periodic test flakes, which were actually, I think, fixed under, which one is it? This one here? Sorry, I've opened the wrong issue. This one here. So, periodic pause, and this fixed the periodic compaction tests. I think this has resolved it. What we can do is jump to test grid and just check if we get any more flags for this particular test periodic pause test case. All right, let's have a look at the pre-submits. And have a look at the unit tests for, I guess, AMD 64. All right, test periodic pause. How do we look? Let's put this on super compact.
Green all the way.
Yeah, looks all right. I just check ARM64 as well, because that's now a tier 1 supported platform for us also. Unit tests, ARM64. Put that on super compact. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that is resolved. Flakes, closing. Flakes in periodic tests were addressed in this one here. Test grid shows green for both AMD 64 and 64 for all recent runs. Okay, one less in the queue, and with that we are about at time. I know we didn't quite get to all of them. There were a couple more left, but we'll roll those forward to the next one. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the one you said like need to clarify the genuine bug. The link they have provided in their reproduce, it's like a private URL that I don't know how anybody would test this. They didn't actually show like what is the cluster setup or anything like that. So just this is some.
Yeah, I looked at this just earlier this morning. I mean, we have a TTL on the auth tokens that's a default of 5 minutes. So, I mean, this might just be expected behavior. I can't remember exactly how the token renew stuff is meant to work, but there is a config setting for etcd server for token TTLs, and it's default 5 minutes. So to me, that sort of briefly explains what's going on there. There might be some shenanigans we do with renewing tokens automatically, but I can't remember. So we just need to check that. Anyway, we'll have a closer look at it and come back to it. All right, team, we will see you later. Thanks for joining the session.
Thank you.